Hello guys, good morning. So I wanted to talk about the relationship between an INFJ woman and an ISTJ man. I happen to be married to an ISTJ man. I'm not going to go into describing an INFJ because you're most likely an INFJ. ISTJs don't really even believe in the Myers-Briggs personality types, so they're not going to be watching this. This is more for the INFJs, because we're constantly wanting to understand people, especially the people that we are often surrounded by. Your husband, your friends, your best friends, your sister, your brother, whatever. So I'm pretty sure as an INFJ, you already know enough about yourself. So I won't get into that. So I'm going to share the relationship between an INFJ and an ISTJ. So not only do we have the differences in personalities, but we also have the gender differences. So we already know that men are very practical. They think very differently than women do. So on top of the gender differences, you have your personality differences. And the biggest difference is the S and the N. Those are the biggest differences. Those are what make you guys night and day different. Can you change it? No. I've tried looking for ways to change it. I've tried reading stuff about how can you change it. Now, the introverted and extroverted parts of personalities can change. And typically they change alone with time. There are other parts of a personality that also change with time as well. But the N and the S are very, very, that's kind of like, no, you're kind of stuck with that. If anything, it may be the ISTJ, the S part of the ISTJ, which is sensing, they might become more intuitive as they get older, but we're talking about way older, like in their 60s or 70s. So that's obviously not going to work for you. So don't even think that that's something you can try to change. It's just not. They don't interact with the world or ideas or their thoughts the same way that we do. There's nothing you can do about it. So you're not going to change them. They don't think about the same topics you like to think about. They don't think as deeply as we do. They think about practical everyday things, which is why it's the most common type of personality out there in the Myers-Briggs personality types. However, one of the things that I really appreciate about the ISTJ is that they're really good. They're very neutral. They tend to be pretty balanced. They don't get emotional. They don't have these ups and downs. They serve as a good anchor for us that can get pretty overwhelmed and emotional, and we do have our days where we're up and down and stuff like that. So that's something that I really do appreciate. They bring us back to a neutral state, emotionally speaking. And sometimes they might even be like our punching bag. That's not necessarily good, but if someone's gonna do it, the best person to handle an INFJ and their emotional ups and downs would be an ISTJ, because they are so neutral. And that's probably one of their biggest strengths. The other one would be how they're really good at dealing with earthly things. They're really good at, like, you know, anything regarding finances, the stock market, investment account, savings account, handling the money, making really good financial choices that sometimes doesn't come so easily to us INFJs, because we're so concentrated and focused on deeper things, finding the meaning in life, understanding the subliminal meaning behind the words that people are saying, and understanding what they're not saying, trying to listen for what people are not saying What do you mean? What's up with that tone? What's the underlying reasons for people's behavior and the underlying reasons for everything. And ISTJs don't do that. They are, let's go straight to the point, A, B, C. And that's that. They look at facts, objectivity. I don't want to say that they're not critical thinkers because that sounds really bad. I'll just say they're not as critical as an INFJ is, and that can drive us bananas. That's where the problem starts for us. That's where we get into conflict, is because we don't understand why they don't appreciate, why they don't think about the things that we think about, because to us, they are really, really important, and they're important topics. But so is the part about finances, because we live in a world where we need money. And maybe some INFJs are really good with money too. And all you need is someone to share and bounce deep ideas with. And who else than to do it with someone that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, or that you're potentially considering someone to spend the rest of your life with. I think that I go back to the biggest strength that they have is the neutrality in their emotions, and how well they can handle our ups and downs, and how forgiving they can be. That is a gigantic strength, because we might say things sometimes that can be very hurtful to other people, and they're really good at letting those things go. And they try to always find a common ground, which is good, because if you're in conflict and you want to resolve the conflict, most of the times they're really, really good about finding common ground. And that is big for any sort of relationship. He tries his very best, and I'm pretty sure that if he tries as an ISTJ, you're going to find the same quality, the same trait, which is kind of hard to find in other people, because that is the one thing about being very emotional and having the tendency to overanalyze, is that sometimes when we overanalyze, we hold on to something that may or may not necessarily be true. And then we go and follow it and we hold on to it, and maybe we're wrong. Now, I'm going to say that a lot of times we're right, but sometimes we're wrong. An ISTJ and an INFJ can work. But what you have to do as an INFJ is that you really have to remember that they have their strengths, and they're really good at being able to forgive and understand that you have your own tendencies, that you have your own bubble. They may not be part of that bubble all the time, because they think very differently from you. But they're the best person to handle an INFJ personality, especially if you're a woman. So I kind of just wanted to share this because I don't want people to think that they're alone, and I wanted to share my perspective on that combination of personalities, because I don't see enough about it. I don't know if it's because there aren't enough INFJs married to an ISTJ, which I can understand why, because we are very different, but it is not impossible. Everything is possible. Let's go back to Steve Jobs and how he made the impossible possible, and how we made Wi-Fi possible. I mean, someone come and explain to you for the very first time what Wi-Fi is, you think it's crazy, but there it is. Everything is possible. Everything is possible. It's just a matter of being aware and remembering, more than anything, remembering that they serve a purpose just as much as we do. It's a different kind of purpose, but it's a purpose. Anyway, I hope that helps.